All right. Good morning. I'm Kyle Yuen, and I'm followed today by Chris Skaggs, LeAnn Evans, Tony LaRosa, and Jancee Crotts. And today we're going to talk about Chipotle's Canadian expansion and provide an analysis of the distribution center supply network. So a little information about the burrito producing business we have come to love. Currently, Chipotle is one of the fastest growing food chains on the market. This could very well be due to their commitment to high quality and natural ingredients. Some more important information to note is that Chipotle emphasizes the importance of locally sourced organic products. Recently, Chipotle has rolled out their Chipotle program, which was crucial to Chipotle's recent significant growth. These Chipotlanes are modern drive-through digital order pickup lines that provide ease of use to customers and faster times. Here we have some significant success indicators that allow us to see Chipotle's direction and their continued growth. First quarter results reveal that sales have grown around 20%, which Chipotle contributes to digital orders and new menu items. More importantly, digital sales have grown over 134%, which accounts for 50% of the sales produced. On an investor scale, share price has grown over 8.5% year to date, which is more than double its price than the previous 12 months. These stats highlight some of the valuable data that we took into consideration moving forward with this analysis. So I analyzed Chipotle's distribution channel. Chipotle has shown great success during the pandemic, and as a result is currently pursuing a market expansion into the Canadian market, specifically with the incorporation of the new Chipotle concept. Based on the previous sales stats, a market expansion into Canada is justified. However, new locations require new distribution centers and farms. Utilizing data analytics, we hope to conclude optimal solutions for new distribution centers. Based on Chipotle's values mentioned before, local farms and fresh ingredients are highly important to requiring an optimal center. Currently, Chipotle has plans to open 6 new locations in British Columbia and Ontario. I'll now pass it on to LeAnn, and she will explain how we found our raw data.
Thanks, Kyle. To find the current locations of Chipotles in Canada, the team used search terms such as Chipotle Canada, Chipotles in Canada, and Chipotles in Vancouver to search Google Maps. Locations in Vancouver, Ottawa, London, and Toronto pinged, with a total of 19 pins being found. Based on neighborhoods and nearby landmarks, each of the 19 locations were given a name. The graphic on screen is a screenshot of the spreadsheet included, in which street addresses, city, province, and postcode are included. The current locations of Chipotle distribution centers in Canada is not information that was readily available for our team. After much research, our team found 1 distribution center in Canada and 22 in the US. The 1 distribution center is located in Ontario. The exact location is not public because it's a privately owned distribution center and is not part of Chipotle. After looking at the density of restaurant locations, timeline of restaurant expansions, heat maps of organic farms in Ontario, and using the standard requirements for Chipotle's supply chain, the team estimates that the distribution center is located around Peterborough, Ontario. This is a small town outside of Toronto with decent transportation routes from Toronto to Ottawa. This is important because Ottawa is located in the center of Southern Ontario's largest organic agriculture and farming areas. The graphic on the screen shows the exact location of the 1 distribution center estimation in Canada and the Seattle location that services Vancouver. To identify the potential areas of future developments for Chipotle, the team used search terms such as Chipotle new locations in Canada, upcoming Chipotle locations in Canada, and Chipotle expansion into Canada. However, no results were found. Instead, our team once again used Google Maps to search for locations in specific cities within Canada that seemed like possible candidates for Chipotle locations. Locations the team searched for were in British Columbia, London, Ontario, and Ottawa. The British Columbia location search was to find an area in which Chipotle could open a drive-through location, which is also being called a Chipotlane. Locations within the other cities that we previously discussed were decided based on the population of the areas. We picked locations that were near well-established shopping centers or stores. The graphic shows a snapshot of our team's data. The locations that our team decided to put new Chipotles are recorded with exact addresses, city, postcode, and province. One of Chipotle's main drives is using local and organic food in their restaurants. Therefore, it is essential to their supply chain that distribution centers are appropriately placed. Our team conducted a Google search for organic farms in Canada. The goal of this search was to determine locations of organic farms that could act as distribution centers for the new Canadian Chipotle locations. The screenshot on the screen is a summary of certified or transitional organic farms within Canada. Next, Chris is going to be talking about how we analyze this data.
In addition to the physical addresses, we were able to gather the latitude and longitude data from Google Maps by right-clicking on the drop pins at the relevant locations. The team hypothesized that the best way to analyze the data was going to be in two clustered analyses due to the large distance between the clusters of locations. British Columbia and Ontario are obviously thousands of miles apart, and the team thought that the proximity would be an issue if analyzed as a single data set. So these images on the slide comprise the physical locations of the new and prospective locations in both BC and in Ontario.
Next, we took the organic farm data and had to do a more visualize it to understand where a location might be and to help our hypothesis. And to make sure that when we came up with an answer, it seemed within reason and it wasn't in the middle of an ocean or off the shore or in the middle of Toronto, downtown. So we created a heat map of organic farms to better understand where they lie and the density of them. And so in British Columbia, you can see that Vancouver's a middle dot there. And so everything seems to be pushed to the east of that. And then in the Ontario, a lot of stuff is in the southern kind of peninsula of the area towards Niagara and definitely away from Ottawa and more west of Toronto.
The way that the team thought to analyze this data, they took the hospital tower assignment from the 523 as a template to determine where to put the distribution centers. The solver work minimized the objective cell highlighted in blue and set the constraint cells in orange as greater than or equal to 0. And once solver was run, it did in fact produce results that really were working latitude and longitude coordinates. The first time the team ran the model with everything, the locations and also all of the farms, just to see what the results would return as. And amusingly, one of the locations selected is actually the location of the Toronto Pearson Airport. The team looked at this data and thought about it pretty closely and considered that the data on the heat map was really presented as a scale. And when analyzed in this first scenario, locations that had only one farm were given sort of equal weight in consideration for the location distribution center as locations that had 20 or more farms. So the team thought to run the scenarios again with trimmed data, really only including farming regions that had more than 20 organic farms. And the results were actually a little bit more granular and more appropriate for distribution center locations. Jancee is going to talk about that further.
Thank you, Chris. In this next section, I'll be discussing our analysis results. So British Columbia yielded the following location. As you can see, these coordinates are located between Jellicoe, Canada and Apex Mountain, all within the Okanagan district. On the image below for this one, you will see the following coordinates produced for Ontario. The coordinates yielded for this location happen to be located right at the Toronto airport, as Chris said. So in the next slides, I'll be furthering the analysis on the selected locations. The selected location for British Columbia meets the criteria of being within 350 miles of organic farms, as well as being located near larger cities within this region. Although this location presents new expansion opportunities, our second analysis, which constrained organic farm regions to those with more than 20, yielded the location of Fort Coquitlam. This location may serve as a better fit due to Chipotle planning more immediate expansion into this area, as well as it being a potential distributor for Vancouver, who is currently using Seattle's distributor. Altogether, our British Columbia location would provide many benefits for Chipotle's expansion into Canada. Ontario also met the criteria of being within 350 miles of organic farms. However, it was directly located at the airport. Due to Toronto's current locations already being served by another distributor, it is likely another distributor would be unnecessary. It is recommended to instead investigate another nearby city, such as Hamilton. This city is close, so if it needs to serve current stores, it can, as well as support the growth of newer stores in Hamilton, which is a bigger city. So now that we have analyzed our data, it is important to evaluate the next steps Chipotle would take with this additional knowledge. Further analysis will be necessary to see what the best fit for Chipotle's expansion strategy is. More solver analysis is recommended to see what specific Chipotle locations would be the most beneficial for this strategy. Based on our current analysis, we recommend Chipotle open up the British Columbia location first, as there are more immediate store openings in this area. However, a distributor near Toronto should be considered. Toronto's current distributor capacity should be evaluated as there are a multitude of Chipotles located within Toronto. If their distributors are unable to serve the current stores as well as potential new locations, this evidence would justify the eventual opening of the recommended Ontario Distribution Center. So next, I will pass it on to Tony for our conclusion.
This project was successful for many reasons. Starting with the results were within reason of the team's expectations, and the team performed expectation checks throughout the experiment. Next, the team was able to collect data, organize it, understand it, and use it for an analysis, and then visualize that data for results. And this played into the analysis of those results. Being the team was able to interpret the results to make a calculated and informed recommendation for Chipotle in their Canadian expansion. However, actually finding these locations did not come without many roadblocks and hurdles. The team learned to overcome these stopping points by modifying their approach and adapting the methodology along the way to obtain the same end result. All of these results, there was a large struggle and a large triumph, and one of each we wanted to point out. So the triumph that we had was mostly readily available data. All of the data we could find on Chipotle, most of it was readily available. And it came in nice. We had locational data, we had amount of farms in a particular area, which is really nice for density mapping. But that led into the one major struggle we had initially in collecting data, which was the existing distribution center data, which we couldn't find any of that for any Chipotle distribution center. So we had to do a lot of proxying to find snippets of data. Okay, where would they have put it using the Chipotle guidelines? Eventually, we were able to come up with estimated locations that we used in our analysis to say, okay, the projected site is not within this range or is within this range for our future recommendation. So that is our presentation on Chipotle's Canadian expansion.